Hi everybody, Lori here for Concord 9th. I'm excited to walk you through the new August 2025 release. Hello and welcome to the introduction to the accordion card base dies. This is a great die set. There's 4 dies included in it, and it allows you to create this unique accordion style 3D pop-up card. The back of the packaging shows you what this accordion 3D pop-up card looks like. It's really fun and very customizable for a lot of different occasions. So to create a 3D accordion card, you're going to need the rectangle die, which is just a plain rectangle die by itself. And then there's also a, a drop-in oval die. So for the back panel, you just need a straight rectangle, which I die cut here out of lakefront cardstock. And for the front panel, you put these two together, the rectangle die and the drop-in oval, and then you run that through with your cardstock, and it creates this panel, perfect size with that oval window, and that's going to be your front panel, and there's your back panel. Now for the sides, you're going to die cut 2 using this accordion die, and you'll need 2, one for each side, and these will fold accordion style to create your like accordion box 3D pop-up card. How many adjectives can I use to describe this? But then you have these base strips, and you can create as many of these as desired to create little panels to adhere images, sentiments, and doodads. Okay, I'm going to show you how to fold the accordion sides. And it's basically like, did you ever make one of those fans growing up and you fold it back and forth? When you die cut it, it puts in those score marks, making it very easy to fold nice straight segments. And you just want to press that down. I like to do the first fold in and then go back and forth. You know what? You might have to do one. It's like I always have to do one just to figure out what I'm doing. And then from there on out, you're like an expert. And now for adhesive, you can use liquid glue or you can use score tape, whatever you like to do. For this demonstration, I'm going to be using score tape because it's quick and dry. There's no like holding and counting to 10. But either one works beautifully. I'm using my bone folder just to kind of reinforce those creases. That's optional, but I do love my Teflon bone folder. Okay, so I have some 1/4 inch score tape here, and I'm going to put it on the back of my oval window panel. So this is the front panel, and I'm putting the score tape on the back of it, the back side. And then I'm going to remove that score tape backing and adhere these little accordions. Now, however you like to do this, you just need to make sure you line up the first fold, like flush. You want to get it straight. Okay, so I kind of fold that first fold and then just try to line it up and hope for the best. Okay, so there you have your first front panel with the accordion sides. Now we're going to put more score tape and adhere this to the back panel. So I flip that over. Again, 1/4 inch score tape. You could also do liquid glue. You're just going to have to hold it and press, count to 10, maybe 20, until it's securely adhered. Score tape works faster, but it also doesn't give you any shimmy. Like if you don't place it down right, you're out of luck. Okay, but it is a very strong hold. So just lining these up, trying to get it flush with the edge. And this is it. As far as the base of an accordion card, it's easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Again, I use lakefront cardstock for this demonstration, but you can use any color, pattern paper, white, whatever you can dream up. And then see how it squeezes shut? You can fit that into an envelope. These are the little base plates. When you run those through the die cutting machine, it also puts those little kind of score marks on the edge, and you're going to fold those, and they will slide right in to the accordion card. There's lots of different segments, well, you'll see here when I show you. There's about 3 or 4 areas where you could slide in a base plate for different kind of 3D effects. So you fold these flaps. I put score tape on the edges, fold them back, and then you're going to slide it in your accordion, depending on where you want to put it, up in the front or back near the back. See how you can just fit it into that accordion fold like so? And I just kind of like squeeze it shut. And that's about all there is to it. You just slip it in, squeeze it, glue it, and then you could put as many as you want. I say the more the merrier. Fill that puppy up, and then you've got all these different levels. Like they're like little mini stages for your little theater scene that you're creating. Here's another one. And so that's 2, but you can even put one way up at the front and one all the way to the back if you want to really do her up. But I'd say 2. 2's going to give you a good scene, if you will. Okay, so there you have the accordion card base dies with 2 little bases in it, base strips. You can add sentiments, images from all the sets that you have. Also in this August release, there's 2 new bundles, a birthday one and a woodland one. And I'll show you here. I have a birthday one on the left, which I use the Accordion Birthday Stamp Set and Accordion Birthday Dies to create this festive cake, presents, balloons, streamers. And then on the right here, we have the Accordion Woodland Stamp and Dies. And this has got the cutie patootie fox with mushrooms and greenery and shrubs and foliage. There's also sentiments with the banners. I'll walk you through those in separate videos, but that is the introduction to the accordion card base dies. Hello and welcome to the introduction to the Accordion Birthday Dies and Accordion Birthday Stamp Set. So this is a cute little bundle that coordinates perfectly with the accordion card base dies to create a 3D pop-up birthday themed accordion card. So here's the die set, and this has all the elements for a celebration. For the little mini stamp set, there are several sentiments. Hooray for today. Let's celebrate. Woo! There's party time, and there's happy birthday and congratulations. There's also a star and some confetti and stars. So you can see that the sentiments are angled in different directions, and this coordinates perfectly with the banner dies that are included in the Accordion Birthday Die Set. So as far as dies, I'm going to walk you through all of these dies because there's a lot to explain. Going back to the sentiments, so you have like a back die for the banner, and then you have the front where you would stamp your sentiment. And when you layer the 2 together, it looks kind of like 3D, like a ribbon folding banner. And depending on your sentiment, some arch curling up, like this one here, it curls up. Let's celebrate. I put a little, some 3D foam squares to pop up the banner just to give it dimension. So there you have a let's celebrate, and that's curving up. And then they have sentiments that curve down. And I have one here to show you, and that is stamped with, I think, sorbet, onto sorbet cardstock. And that one's angled down. It says hooray for today. So lots of different customizable sentiments. There's also these kind of edging border dies. There's one with balloons. There's one here with the cake, and then there's also one that's like a shelf for presents. And these are going to be die cut into your base strips from the accordion card base dies. So you take a strip that's already been die cut, and then you can take your birthday edger border dies, whether it be the balloon or the cake or the present shelf, and you're going to die cut that into it. So here's one that I've die cut with the balloon edger. I believe this is powder cardstock. And then here's one that I'm going to cut. So I already cut it with the base die. It's got those score marks on the edge, and it's the perfect size for your accordion card. And then you die cut the birthday cake right into it. So you just kind of like center it. I'll take this off camera and run it through my die cutting machine. And that's how easy it is to create a little base strip with a birthday theme. Okay, and then you can have all these dies that you put onto it. So I die cut all my base strips out of powder because my card is powder. So I think it's nice if your base strips are the same color as your card. So it's like one seamless, staging. And then you have all these die cuts that you can put on. So here I made a cream 3-layered cake, and there's your 3-layer cake die, and there's also 3 layers of frosting, kind of drippy frosting that I'm going to adhere. I'm just putting this together as I show you, so it kind of explains not only what the pieces are, but how to put them together. And so I did 3 different shades of pink. I think ballet slipper, maybe sweet pea, dragon fruit. I'm not even sure if I'm saying the right colors, but you get the idea. You could make a chocolate cake, depending on how you want to use your colors for your cake. There's also a little cake topper, and it says yay. So instead of like candles, you can do a little, maybe these are like yay letter candles, or maybe it's just a, what do you call that, like a cake pick, and just gluing that on the top of the cake. Look at how cute that is. That's fun, and it could be used for a wedding or a birthday, or maybe you're retired, maybe you took a shower. There's 2 different sizes of balloon dies, and I did, I'm going in rainbow order, gluing these all down to that balloon edged base strip. So using liquid glue for this one, and I cut a bunch. I just kind of staggered the colors and staggered the sizes, and they just kind of pop on there. You could also just put balloons by themselves. You don't have to only use it for this edger die. You know what I mean? Put some balloons here and there, scatter them. It's always nice to have a balloon die, and I like these 2 different sizes. I've used a bunch of Concord 9th solid color cardstock here. I'm not even going to begin. I know that's parsley, and I think that might be, I don't know, but there's a little excess hanging off. Trimming that off with the scissors, and then you can slide that. I'm not going to put adhesive on it yet. I'm just sliding this in to show you what you do. I'll put this near the back, and that'll be like a little balloon backdrop for your party. So I slide that in. I don't have adhesive on it yet, just showing you. Look at how cute that is, the bright colors with the powder base. It's got a nice little pop to it. You could also do a white base, and I'm going to slide the cake in one of the front little slots. So you got your cake in the front, your balloons in the back. There's 2 different streamer dies that you can just slide those in anywhere or not. It could be getting too busy, depending on how simple or how zhuzhed up you want to go. But there's the 2 streamers. What else we got for a party? There is the shelf die. So first I die cut a base strip, then I die cut the shelf into it. And this makes a perfect little shelf to add presents. There's 3 different box dies in the die set, 3 different sizes, and also bows and ribbons. So you could really zhuzh up your presents. And I did the bows and ribbons out of matte gold. I don't know what it is about matte gold, but have you ever given someone or received a present that's like got gold wrapping paper or a gold like metallic ribbon? You feel like you're the richest person in the world. It's so fancy schmancy. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But so these little shelf segments fit the size of the presents perfectly. It's all thought out. Concord 9th knows what they're doing. They make you look like you mean business. And then now as far as the ribbons and the bows, you could really customize this however you want to tie them on or glue them on, wherever you want to put them. I'm just putting one here in the center. You can put them at the top. Here I'll put one going up. So it's really customizable depending on how you want to, wrap your presents. This one here, I'm going to tuck the bow kind of behind so it looks like there's a bow sitting on top of the present. And then I'm just going to glue this smaller present just over to the side. Really optional. Optionable? Is that even a word? Optional. I'm making up words here. Optionable. That's a pretty good one though. And then slide this in the back behind the cake. You got your cake, your presents, your balloons, your streamers. I've got the sentiment banner up there. And then I took one card and I did just streamers and I stamped that angled sentiment. It just angles perfectly with the flow of the streamers. And that is the introduction to the Accordion Birthday Stamp Set and Accordion Birthday Dies. Hello and welcome to the introduction to the Accordion Woodland Stamp Set and Accordion Woodland Dies. And this coordinates perfectly with the accordion card base dies to create a woodland theme with your 3D accordion pop-up card. So for the stamp set, there are several sentiments. There's also little flourishes that you can stamp on your front. Best of luck, thankful for you, thinking of you, and you are so loved. There's also a hello there. So these are angled perfectly to go with the sentiment banners in the die set. As far as dies, I'm going to walk you through all of them included, starting with the sentiment banner strips. So you can angle that going upward. It's kind of a 2-layered sentiment banner. You can layer them together and it gives you that illusion that the banner ends are just kind of flapping in the wind. And you can angle it up or you can angle it down. Here I have a cranberry one, thankful for you, stamped angling down. Pop that up to give it a little bit of dimension. There's a couple different tree trunks here. Cut those out of dark brown. There's also a tree stump, which is like 2 different dies. There's the stump and then there's the top of the stump. And then in the stamp set, there's also a teeny tiny little stamp that you can add like that wood grain look to the top of the stump, which I stamped there. So you can give a little detail to your stump, and the fox sits perfectly on the stump. There's a sun and a moon, like a half moon or a full moon. Then there's these little arm branches that have the score marks, so you could fold those and adhere those on the sides of your accordion sides, and it looks like little branches coming into the center of your scene, going into the tree or the shrubs or the foliage. Here's another little kind of corner that could look like a tree, or if you want to do it from the bottom up, it could look like a bush. So you could really top or bottom foliage, 2 different little leaf sprigs, and then 3 different border edgers. And I did those in 3 different shades of green. So first you're going to die cut your base plate from the accordion card base die set. Then you can add your foliage edgers, if you will. So there's like the leafy one, the shrubby one, and then the smooth wavy one. I did sprout, parsley, and evergreen there, and they look great, just kind of like staggered. And then now you have these little itty bitty stars and confetti drops. Those look so fun if you adhere them on like a night sky, or just use them as embellishments, scatter them all over. It's like a little fairy dust. There's 2 different mushrooms. I always love a mushroom, and it's like 3 layers. So you got your stem, your mushroom topper, which I did out of white, and then the red part with the holes. And then I'm going to zoom in here so you can see the cutie patootie little fox. And it's layerable too. So I did clementine for the head, and then white for the mouth, clementine for the body, a little white for the tip of the tail. And there's also an itty bitty little nose that you can do out of pink or black. There's 2 little tiny little feet. And then there's also the inner ear, which I ended up doing that out of pink. Okay, so here's the couple cards that I created using the Accordion Woodland Stamp & Dies. This one is the Accordion 3D pop-up card. I pulled out all the bells and whistles. I think I used every die in the set just about, with a blueberry base. And then here's just a traditional card. Okay, and I did a pebble window, and I stamped the flourishes on each of the corners and made kind of a night sky. I added the stars and the moon, and that is the introduction to the Accordion Woodland Stamp Set and Dies. Hello, and welcome to the introduction to the Curio Stamp Set and Curio Dies. And this bundle creates a large curio cabinet that can be filled with dishes, plants, cakes, and more. So on the back of the packaging, it shows you a variety of curio cabinet options, very customizable for different occasions. You can add banners to make it celebratory, or you can just do fine china. That one really intrigued me. There's banners with sentiments that kind of coordinate for the size of the banner. Here's the little stamp set, and I will walk you through all of the sentiments. We have, I love you so very much. Happy birthday to you. Every day is better with you. Thanks for all you do. You're an incredible friend. Congratulations. I think you're great. And then there's a tiny little flower that fits perfectly in those plates or the pitcher or the platter to make it look like fancy schmancy china. Okay, I'm going to walk you through all of the dies. There are a ton of them and they're teeny tiny. But first, the Curio cabinet base. It has score marks so you can fold the doors shut if you want to, or leave them open. If you fold them shut, it will fit perfectly on an A2 size card. If you fold the doors shut, it's like it fits just enough. And then there's an extra door if you want to put that, because that's going to be the back of your card. Might look a little scratchy. So if you want to add that in a contrasting color or in the same color, or leave the doors open, you can just really do whatever your heart desires. And then these little things create shelves in your cabinet. You can add 3, you can add 1, you can add none. It's really like, I feel like I'm back in the days when I had a dollhouse and I can just do whatever I want. There's these little flourishes that you can add to the top and the bottom, or you can mix and match. Maybe you want to put the bottom ones on the top. There's also a party pendant, what do you call this, like banner thingamajiggy, and I did those with all the different colors. And then here is the banner. It's like a banner holder and the banner itself, which you could stamp all those different sentiments here. They're sized perfectly to fit in the banner for different occasions. And then what else do we have? We have a pitcher. You could put that on the shelf. And again, that little flower fits perfectly on the pitcher if you want to decorate it. There's little teacup saucers, which I did a mixture of matte gold and white. And then here's a big old like serving platter, and it's like the platter and then the edge, which I did out of matte gold. So you can customize your plates. You don't have to add the edge, but you can do it with a contrasting color. There's also a clock, again with 2 pieces to make it 2 different colors, for you got your clock face and your clock base. There's more little teacups and saucers. Look at how this all comes together. It's like a Barbie dream house. My mom's gonna die. She's gonna die when she sees this. When I make one of these, it's gonna have to go to her first. And then here's these little bitty vases with little stems that you can put in it. There's also a cake plate, and now there's the cake dome. But if you want, you could also put a little cake. So here's your cake plate base, and here's a teeny little cake that you can also add candles to behind it. You glue the candles behind the cake, and then there's a little bit of frosting. I mean, forget about it. There's a big old bow, which you can put anywhere. There's also a heart, and then there's a few presents with bows, so you can make it a birthday curio cabinet. So here's my curio cabinet all put together. I added an embossed sentiment on the bottom. I forgot to mention the hardware. There's different handle little knobs that you can add to your doors. You could stack them up to make just a circle round knob. Here's one that's like a little lever knob. And fold the door shut, fold the doors open. Look at the fine china. And then here I just took one. I didn't use the curio cabinet. I just did a bunch of presents with the banner and then the pendant. Did a cream background, and it's just a fun, simple birthday card using the Curio Dies. And that is the introduction to the Curio Stamp Set and Curio Dies. Hello, and welcome to the introduction to the Fall Favors Stamp Set and Fall Favors Box Dies. There's also Fall Favors Extra Dies. So this bundle allows you to create fun little boxes like an apple, a plant in a pot, an acorn, even a pumpkin or a blueberry. And I'm going to show you how to put this all together. So for the Fall Flavors Box Dies, there is one accordion-like piece that creates the base and one smaller one that makes the lid. And then this one here creates like a stem. And there's 3 different leaf dies, different shapes, like an oak leaf, maybe a maple. I'm not sure what these are, but I did them in 3 different colors. big, beautiful leaves. These are little stones or pebbles that you might put in your pot if you're making a snake plant. For the snake plant, there's 2 different sizes of leaves here, and those can also be stamped with a stamp set. I'll show you that later. Here you have 2 different hexagon dies. Those are for your bottom and your top. And then this big round piece here would go in if you were making a plant. None of this really makes sense, but I will show you. These little blobs with a slit in them are for your snake plant, to put that in and adhere it to your pot. And then you have a little tag that has a for you sentiment that you can really customize with different colors. You could leave the little counters of the O and the R in or out. There's a word die, enjoy. There's also a little worm and little teeny tiny worm eyeballs. And then you could put the eyeballs on the worm and have him peeping out of the apple, and it's kind of cute. You know what else you could use? I just thought of this. Googly eyes. That would be fun. But here's the little white and black eyeballs for the worm. Okay, now there is the Fall Flavors Extra Dies, which give you 2 more of the bottom and 2 more of the top. Because to create an apple or whatever, you need 6. So if you had the extra dies, you'd have 3, and you just have to die cut that twice. So you need 6 pieces. So the extras come in handy if you want to do a lot of these. For the stamp set, this big one is good if you want to stamp like an acorn. This one is for the snake plant to add detail to your plant. And then sentiments, we have Happy Fall, Best Teacher Ever, Thank You, and Life Would Suck Without You. Suck meaning succulent. So this is really fun for a lot of different occasions. And those sentiments fit perfectly on that little tag die. Okay, I'm going to show you how to put together an apple. So like I said, you need 6 for the top, 6 for the bottom. I did these all out of poppy. And then I have a leaf and a stem and those 2 hexagon dies. So when you die cut them, they put the little score marks, and you're just going to kind of pre-fold those. It doesn't have to be like an intense folding like with the bone folder and really creasing it. You just want to slightly prep your folds, and I'm going to do that for all 6 pieces. This is going to be the bottom of our apple. So these are the larger pieces, and then here's the top. Again, 6 of those, and I'm just kind of prepping those folds. Not intensely, but just gently, so it gives a little bend to your round apple, and it helps to adhere all the pieces together when it's bent. Now to put together, you put glue on the end. It says, I think, align on it. It's got words on it, so that's the part where you put the glue. And all these pieces are going to get glued to that solid hexagon. So you put glue on the tab, slide it in, line it up with each of the 6 edges of the hexagon. It's very easy to do. I know it might look intimidating, but once you do one, you realize how simple it is. And I'm using liquid glue, so every time I put this down, I kind of hold it and count to 10. You could also use score tape. That would go a lot quicker. But I will say, for putting this together, I recommend liquid glue, because sometimes you got to shimmy things to get them into place and hold it, and you might need a little forgiveness. So I think liquid glue might be a better option, but score tape will work. You just got to be sure of your placement. Okay, now this is the top, and that has the hole in the hexagon. That hole is to tuck your little stem in on the top of your apple. Okay, so I'm putting all these smaller little flaps, and I'm lining those up with the 6 edges of this smaller hexagon, just like I did the base. Again, all of this is out of poppy because I'm making an apple. I'm going to show you after quickly how I made the succulent plant, the potted plant, and then really quick an acorn, just to show you the variation. So there's your top and your bottom glued together. And now this part here, just don't lose heart. You got to just figure it out. You glue those tabs and you line them up with the sides. You kind of got to fold and hold Fold and hold is the name of the game, but I would say the most important thing is to line up the edges. Once you get the edge, everything else kind of just goes into place. And I know you might, listen, my first one was a bit of an emotional roller coaster. I'm not going to lie, because you're like, am I doing this right? Is this even going to work? But trust the process. It works. You just line it up and this is where glue, I think, is a better option, because you kind of have to shimmy it into place, because it's like got the 3 different folds there and they all are angled. I say get the edge first. Hold that. Once you got that straight, everything else kind of comes into place, and you just hold it and count to 10. If you want to know how many times I counted to 10, a lot. Like a lot. But you know what? You just sit down, get your glue, put on some music, chill, and make yourself a cutie little apple. It's so fun. I don't know. And I don't know what it is about it. I think it's something different than a card. And you could fill it with some candy or like a pair of earrings. It's a great teacher gift because it's an apple. And my kids, I had to show everybody in my family. I'm like, you got to come and look at this apple. You got to come and look at it. But what they love the most, maybe it's just because of the trend, but they really love the potted plant. I geeked out over the apple, but my kids really love the potted plant. They're like, you got to make one of those. I want to put it on my shelf. They all want one now. So it's going to be a hit if you have some young girls in your life. And my one daughter is a teacher, and she was like, I want to put that on my desk, the potted plant. I want to put that on my desk in my classroom. I was like, great idea. So then I thought, well, that would be a fun teacher gift. Give her a potted plant to put on her desk. Anywho, I'm gluing together this lid while I'm blabbing away, and it's almost finished here. Line it up, squeeze those edges together, count to 10. And then we're going to add our stem, which is much easier. Once you get through this part, you've conquered all the heart. And it fits together right on I don't know how they did it. They know their measurements, but it just tucks right in and makes a cute little apple box. I don't know what it is about this, but it just tickles my fancy. Okay, here's your little stem, which I die cut out of, what is this, nutmeg? And it has the little score lines, and you just kind of fold it, makes like a little box. And then the edges fold out like that. They kind of flap out, and those are going to go inside. First, I'm going to glue the stem together. Just makes like a little box stem. Very easy to put together. Again, count to 10, holding that. Is 10 your lucky number for gluing things? For me, 10 works. If I do any less, it doesn't stick. Put that in the hole. You kind of feed it through, and then you fold those flaps out and secure it on the inside of your apple lid. So I'll put a little bit of glue on each one of those flaps. I love this Barely Arts glue too, because it's long enough. It's got that needle tip, so you can get in those little nooks and crannies and kind of awkward spaces. Again, count to 10 and holding those flaps down, and then you've got your stem on your lid. You could also add a leaf, and you could add a tag. You could stamp "You're the best teacher." Fill it with some, what would a teacher like? Maybe some mints so she has good breath. I don't know. I think a cute pair of earrings would look cute in there. Here's a little leaf. I guess I'm being, it could be a dude teacher. So then it doesn't always have to be girly gifts, obviously. Chocolate would be what I would want. Fill that thing with some Lindor truffles, and I'm a happy camper. I added the best teacher ever with some twine and a leaf, and there you have an apple box. Now here's what you're going to need to make a potted plant. You're going to need 6 of the bases and a bunch of the leaves, as many as you want. I would say at least 10. And you got the small ones and the big ones. And then you can stamp the detail in the stamp set. There's that detail to stamp and add to your snake leaf. And I did that avocado on avocado cardstock. I think I also did a mixture of grasshopper. You can see there's two different greens. You can mix and match your green. Now, I like to glue the two together because the back side of the die cut is kind of scratchy. You know, if your die cut machine is well loved. So I glue two together so it's smooth on the front and smooth on the back. So you're going to die cut some extra, stamp on both sides, glue them together, have a mixture of tall ones and shorter ones. And then once you get those all glued, then that's where these little blobs with the slit come into play. You're going to slip in your snake, what do you call that? A snake plant? I want to call it a leaf. It's not a leaf. Anyway, has those flaps, and you're going to glue those down to the back of your little brown blob. And that's going to allow your plant to stand up. So you're going to do that to each one of your little plants. I went ahead and put together the base of the pot. I did that out of grapefruit cardstock. And then this is where that large hexagon shape comes in. And I did that out of nutmeg because this is going to be like your dirt that goes in your pot. Fold those flaps in, put glue on all sides. And then this is going to tuck right in to the base. It just kind of tucks right in and it looks like you have dirt in your pot. So glue those so it's secure and holding steady. And then once that's dry and secure, then you can add your little plant stems. So you put glue on the bottom of the little brown blob, and then you're going to glue this down into your pot. So this is where you can add as many or as little. I say the more the merrier. The fuller the plant, the better it looks, in my opinion. So I'm doing the taller ones in the center, and then I'll do the shorter ones around the outer edge. And then I'm gluing some of these little faux stones, and I added the little tag with some twine. Life would suck without you. Look at how cute that is. A little paper potted plant, a snake plant. And then lastly, I just wanted to show you a quick peek at the acorn because I just want to show you quickly how you can use that stamp to stamp the detail. I'm using nutmeg ink on nutmeg cardstock. And then I just line, it's very easy because it's a little bit larger, so it's easy to line up. And you stamp that beautiful brown acorn detail. This is going to be on the lid of your acorn. So the base doesn't get any detail. Just the lid gets that acorn stamp detail. And then I went ahead and glued all these pieces together, the lid, the base, added a leaf and some twine, and there you have a cute little fall acorn box. You got an acorn, a potted plant, an apple, you could do a pumpkin, a blueberry, whatever you can dream up. That is the introduction to the Fall Favors Stamp Set and Fall Favors Box Dies. Hello and welcome to the introduction to the Party Time Turnabout Stamp Set and Party Time Dies. This is the latest Turnabout design by Concord 9th and it's ready to bring the celebration. So here you have this large Turnabout stamp set, some confetti, huzzah, let's get this party started, happy birthday, and then you have high five, and then these big block ones, celebrate, spell out celebrate, but it's kind of like two stamps. So you get two-tone. And then on the back, it shows you the turnabout, how you build up depending on how many colors you want to add. Now for the dies, it's a small little mini die set. First up, you can die cut this two-tone celebrate. So you stamp that with the two different stamps, and then the die cut is perfectly sized to cut that out. You can see here how the letters slightly overlap, giving you that fun overlapping color. There's a party hat, a striped party hat. So there's two dies. One is a solid triangle and one gives you the stripes. You can add the stripes or not add the stripes. And then there's a party little topper, like little pom-pom. This can also be like a megaphone or a party popper, you know, with all the stuff that pops out. And here's all the little die that creates all these little like confetti. And then this is like a, what do you call this? A party horn. It's got the fringe on the end, and then you blow in it and it makes that obnoxious like party sound. So I've got the panel of white cardstock loaded in my Turnabout jig. I'm going to stamp this 4 times with 4 different colors. The first color I'm using is Sea Glass ink. And did I mention my white cardstock is cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. So I'm going to rotate this 1 time, clean my stamp off, get a different color ink. You don't have to use 4 different colors. You can use all the same colors. You can use solid color cardstock. Here I pulled out Juniper, which is just like in the same color family as the Sea Glass, but just way darker tone. So that's a fun combination. And then I'm going to rotate this, clean my stamp, pull out a new color. The next color is Pink Lemonade. So I'm going to ink up this. This Turnabout is very forgiving. I don't feel like you have to get it so precisely lined up like some other Turnabout designs. But look at that fun party background. So there's one more turn to go. Clean off the stamp. I'm going to ink up this last one with Creamsicle. And then this will be it. This Turnabout design will be finished. So 4 turns, 4 different colors. Really easy to do. Celebratory background. And there you have it. So we use Sea Glass, Juniper, Pink Lemonade, and Creamsicle. Here's 4 different looks. Here I used Grasshopper cardstock with Grasshopper ink, Juniper ink, and white pigment ink. So that's a fun way. Here I use a powder background with powder ink, and I believe that's Sprout, and also white pigment ink. Here I used a Pink Lemonade background, and I stamped it with Pink Lemonade, Creamsicle, and Honeysuckle. And then this is the one that I just showed you the demonstration. So that's 4 different looks with the Party Time Turnabout. Here's a couple projects that I've created using this bundle. So here I used that Pink Lemonade background, and then I did the Celebrate with Honeysuckle and Creamsicle. I added the party hat and the party horn, bunch of little clear sequins. This is a great pop. Okay, and then I did a simple one, a white card base. I did the party popper with red and grapefruit, stamped the sentiment in black, added a bunch of sequins. A lot of fun. That is the introduction to the Party Time Turnabout stamp set and Party Time dies. Hello and welcome to the introduction to the Sentimental Florals stamp set and Sentimental Florals dies. This creates a really pretty flower framed sentiment. So here's the flower frame, and there's all these individual flowers that you can stamp. For sentiments, we have Happy Birthday, May the next trip around the sun be the best one yet. Forever grateful, honestly, I just can't thank you enough. Here for you, sending big hugs and lots of love. Hello there, wishing you the nicest of days, and oh happy day, so excited for you. So a variety of occasions. The back of the packaging shows you how this all looks when you put it together with the flower frame, the flowers, and the sentiment. For the Sentimental Florals dies, you have several little floral dies and a large high square. There's also a scallop square. I've die cut all of these to show you more detail what they look like. So here's that square with the big high in it. I love that font. So you got the positive and the negative. You have a solid square and you have a scallop square. You can layer these, use them with the stamp set. Here's all these individual flowers. So you can either stamp the flowers, die cut the flowers. You have some little floral centers, some floral stems, buildable blooms. You've got the little stamen there that can pop outside of the little bloom. You could layer the blooms, pop them on a stem, use them without the stem. And so you could really mix and match all of this with the Sentiment Florals stamp set. So I'm going to show you how to stamp a floral frame and add the blooms. I have a panel of white cardstock here cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to take the large floral or kind of a leafy frame and center it right into the panel. It fits perfectly in an A2 size card. You can stamp this on white cardstock, which is what I'm doing, but you can also use solid color cardstock. I'm going to ink this up with Sprout, which is kind of a light green, but you could use all different shades of green, even aqua. Just let your imagination run wild. So this is going to be like the greenery. You can see those open spots there. Now I'm switching to an acrylic block because I'm going to stamp this bloom a couple times. And there's little places where the bloom fits right in. You can see it like fits in like a puzzle piece. And you don't have to be perfect. If it overlaps a little bit, I feel like that whimsical look looks even better. And then you have a slightly smaller bloom. I'm going to use this one with grapefruit ink. Again, you can see how it fits right perfectly in that little open space. And then again, I'm referring to the back of the packaging as a guide. That helps you as well for placement. And then there's some of these little, I don't know what these blooms are called. They almost look like lilacs to me. And so I stamped them with lilac ink. Again, looking at the back of that packaging for placement, because really, you know, some of these have certain spots where it fits right in, but some of the places don't have certain spots. You could just stamp them anywhere. Like this one here, it's a little bloom. I'm using Starfruit ink, and I'm just stamping it where it was on the imagery on the back of the packaging, but this could go anywhere. You could add as many or as few of these as you wanted. That Starfruit, it's like, it's got a neon element to it. I love it. And then here we have Sea Glass, another little tiny bloom. And these ones you can see go right on the ends of the open stems. So you can kind of see where those go. And you could do these in a variety of colors. You don't have to do them all with Sea Glass. And then also you could substitute this for the die cuts. You could use a little die cut bloom and put it on the end of the stem if you didn't want to stamp it. Okay, and then I'm going to do the floral centers with Buttercup. So there's two different sizes of floral centers that fit perfectly inside those two larger blooms. Here's the smaller center going in that, was that grapefruit bloom? One on top, one on the bottom. And then lastly, I'm just going to stamp one of the sentiments. For this, I pulled out the Misty because I didn't trust myself to get it centered. I'm not even sure I got it perfectly centered this time. But there it is for a hello there, all stamped on white cardstock. Here's a couple more examples. I did a variety mix and match with the stamping and the die cutting. Here I layered that high die cut with grapefruit and sorbet, stamped the floral frame, added a few die cut florals on a white card base. And then here I did one on eucalyptus. So I did eucalyptus frame on eucalyptus cardstock. I did a few eucalyptus blooms and a few die cut blooms. And that is the introduction to the Sentimental Floral Stamp Set and Sentimental Florals Dies.